On the morning of December 17, 1939, Simo Häyhä lay motionless in snow 30 inches deep along the Kollaa River, watching Soviet infantry columns move through frozen birch forest 400 yards east of Finnish defensive positions. 33 years old, 5 feet 3 inches tall, 109 pounds, farmer from Rajärvi municipality, eastern Finland, conscripted into the Finnish army. 1925, completed mandatory service, returned to farming, recalled to active duty October 1939 as tensions escalated with the Soviet Union, assigned to 6th Company, Junior 34, Infantry Regiment 34, as a rifleman, not a designated sniper, no formal sniper training, no telescopic sight, standard issue Mosin Nagant M/28 to 30 rifle with iron sights, effective range with iron sights, 300 yards under ideal conditions. This was his 7th day on the line. The Soviet Union invaded Finland on November 30, 1939, 3 days after diplomatic negotiations collapsed. Joseph Stalin demanded territorial concessions. Finland refused. The Red Army launched offensives across the entire Finnish-Soviet border. Finland, population 3 million, Army 180,000 troops. Soviet Union, population 190 million, invasion force 450,000 troops. The mathematics were clear. Soviet planners estimated the campaign would last 2 weeks. They allocated resources accordingly. Winter uniforms, insufficient. Cold weather lubricants for weapons, unavailable. Maps of Finnish terrain, outdated. The Red Army expected rapid victory. They did not expect the forest. They did not expect the cold. They did not expect Häyhä. The Kollaa River sector was critical. 25 miles of front held by 4,000 Finnish troops against 25,000 Soviet attackers. Ratio 6-1. Soviet doctrine called for overwhelming numerical superiority to compensate for inferior training. Standard tactics: mass frontal assault, human wave attacks, artillery saturation. The Finns had different tactics: small unit operations, mobility, intimate knowledge of terrain, and men like Häyhä who understood the forest, who could remain motionless for hours in temperatures reaching -40 degrees Fahrenheit, who could calculate wind drift and bullet drop without optical aids, who treated killing with the mechanical precision of harvest work. Häyhä's position was deliberately chosen: snow-covered hillock, clear firing lanes through birch stands, concealment provided by snowdrifts and low vegetation, distance from Soviet approach routes, 250 to 400 yards, within effective range of iron sights for a marksman of exceptional skill. Häyhä qualified as exceptional. Pre-war, he competed in shooting competitions across Finland. Civil Guard marksmanship champion multiple years. His method was unorthodox. He refused telescopic sights. Optical glass created glint. Glint revealed position. Iron sights eliminated glint. Iron sights required closer range. Closer range meant higher risk. Häyhä accepted the risk. He kept snow in his mouth while shooting. Exhaled breath created vapor. Vapor revealed position. Snow kept his breath cold. No vapor formed. Do me a quick favor. Tap the like button. Every like tells YouTube this story deserves to be seen by more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We're bringing overlooked wartime stories back into the light every day. Stories of crews, soldiers, and ordinary people driven by resolve and duty. Real lives, real bravery. Back to Häyhä. Soviet attacks at Kollaa began December 7th. Mass infantry assaults supported by artillery and armor. The Finns held. December 10th. Second major assault. Held. December 14th. Third assault. Held. Soviet casualties mounted. Finnish casualties remained comparatively low. The discrepancy puzzled Soviet commanders. Standard doctrine suggested Finnish defensive positions should collapse under sustained pressure. They did not collapse. Finnish riflemen inflicted disproportionate casualties, and one rifleman inflicted casualties far beyond normal parameters. Häyhä worked alone. He departed Finnish lines before dawn. moved to predetermined firing positions, remained stationary throughout daylight hours, engaged Soviet troops at ranges between 200 and 400 yards, returned to Finnish lines after dark. Each day, without exception, his first confirmed kill occurred December 7th. Soviet infantry officer, 320 yards, single shot. The officer fell. Häyhä cycled the bolt, acquired second target. Soviet sergeant, 290 yards, single shot. The sergeant fell. He fired methodically. One shot, one target. Bolt cycle. Next target. No rapid fire. Rapid fire overheated the barrel. Overheated barrels created mirage shimmer. Shimmer disrupted accuracy. Häyhä fired slowly. He averaged one shot every 90 seconds, 40 shots per day maximum. Not every shot resulted in confirmed kill. Hit probability with iron sights at 300 yards. Approximately 70% for expert marksmen under ideal conditions. Conditions were rarely ideal. Wind, snow, target movement. Häyhä adjusted for variables. His hit rate exceeded 90%. Soviet forces identified the threat by December 12th. Sniper operating in Kollaa sector. Casualties among officers and NCOs running abnormally high. Soviet doctrine. Suppress enemy snipers with counter-sniper teams and indirect fire. They deployed counter-snipers. 12 specialist marksmen with scoped Mosin-Nagant rifles. Häyhä killed 3 within 48 hours. The others withdrew. They called artillery strikes on suspected sniper positions. Häyhä never remained in one position after firing more than 5 shots. He moved. The artillery hit empty forest. Soviet frustration grew. Casualty reports from Kollaa sector documented increasing losses. Officers refused to move openly. NCOs remained in covered positions. Infantry morale degraded. The soldiers called him the White Death. They did not know his name. They knew only that men died in the snow without hearing the shot. On the morning of December 21st, Häyhä engaged a Soviet company strength assault. Approximately 120 infantry advancing in skirmish line formation. Range, 350 yards. He fired. Soviet soldier fell. The line hesitated. He fired again. Second soldier fell. The line went to ground. Häyhä waited. Soldiers remained stationary only briefly under fire. Training and fear compel movement. Minutes later, the Soviets resumed advance. Häyhä fired steadily. One shot every 90 seconds. 12 shots over 18 minutes. 10 confirmed kills. The Soviet company commander called withdrawal. The assault failed. Cost: 11 dead. Estimated 20 wounded. Häyhä's ammunition expenditure: 12 rounds. He extracted from position mid-morning. Returned to Finnish lines. Cleaned rifle. Slept 4 hours. Returned to different position that afternoon. Soviet command issued orders. Eliminate the sniper. Priority high. Resources allocated. Battalion-strength operation. December 27th. Soviet forces conducted sweep of suspected sniper operational area. 300 infantry, supported by mortar teams and machine gun sections. They found nothing. Häyhä observed from concealed position 800 yards distant, outside engagement range. He watched the Soviets search empty forest. They withdrew at dusk. Häyhä returned to his usual positions the following morning. The killing continued. By January 1st, 1940, Häyhä's confirmed kill count exceeded 100. Company commander reviewed reports. Recommended Häyhä for decoration. Field promotion to corporal approved January 5th. Häyhä accepted promotion. Changed nothing about his method. He woke before dawn. Moved to position. Killed Soviet soldiers. Returned after dark. Other Finnish soldiers asked about technique. Häyhä's explanation was brief. I practice a lot. No elaboration. No tactical advice. He treated the work as farming. Necessary. Methodical. Emotionless. Temperature dropped through January. -30 Fahrenheit became normal. -40 common. Soviet troops suffered severely. Frostbite casualties exceeded combat casualties in some units. Logistical failures compounded problems. Winter uniforms remained in short supply. Rations froze. Weapons malfunctioned. Lubricants congealed in sub-zero temperatures. Finnish forces adapted better. Locally sourced winter gear. Intimate knowledge of cold weather operations. And they had Häyhä. His kill count climbed. 150 by January 15th. 200 by January 26th. Soviet soldiers refused patrol assignments in certain sectors. Officers threatened disciplinary action. The soldiers preferred courts-martial to the White Death. Soviet command changed tactics. If the sniper could not be killed, his operating area could be rendered untenable. February 2nd. Sustained artillery bombardment of Kollaa sector. 600 shells. 4-hour barrage. Finnish positions absorbed massive damage. Casualties. Moderate. Häyhä survived in covered shelter. The shelling stopped. He returned to his positions. February 8th. Second bombardment. Heavier. 800 shells. Häyhä survived again. Soviet infantry assaulted immediately after barrage lifted. Standard tactic. Exploit shock effect. The Finns were not shocked. They held positions. Häyhä killed 17 Soviet soldiers during the assault. Range. 150 to 300 yards. The attack collapsed. February temperatures reached -43 Fahrenheit. Coldest winter in recorded Finnish history. Soviet offensive operations slowed. Soldiers could not function effectively in extreme cold. Weapons failure rates exceeded 50%. The Red Army bled resources. Finland bled soldiers. Attrition favored neither side. Stalin demanded results. Soviet command prepared final offensive. Overwhelming force. Breakthrough at any cost. Launch date. February 15th. Häyhä had no intelligence about Soviet plans. He continued his routine. Wake, move, kill, return. The pattern held. On the morning of March 6, 1940, Häyhä occupied firing position along Kollaa River. Soviet forces launched localized assault. Platoon strength, approximately 40 infantry. Range, 200 yards. Häyhä engaged. First shot. Soviet soldier fell. Second shot. 90 seconds later, second soldier fell. He maintained steady fire. The Soviets located his position. Machine gun team directed suppressive fire. Rounds impacted within 10 yards. Häyhä remained motionless. The machine gun crew adjusted fire. Closer. 5 yards. Snow erupted around his position. He did not move. Moving revealed location definitively. Remaining still offered survival probability. The machine gun fire shifted. Häyhä resumed shooting. Minutes later, a Soviet rifleman fired explosive ammunition at Häyhä's suspected position. Standard rifle round modified with small explosive charge. Designed for anti-materiel use. Effective against light cover. The round impacted directly in front of Häyhä's face. The explosion tore through snow and frozen earth. Fragmentation and concussive force struck Häyhä's lower face and jaw. Catastrophic tissue damage. Mandible shattered. Multiple teeth destroyed. Soft tissue avulsed. Massive hemorrhage. Häyhä lost consciousness immediately. Finnish soldiers located him within the hour. Evacuation to aid station. Medical officer assessed injuries. Severe facial trauma. Likely fatal. Survival probability. Less than 20%. Emergency stabilization performed. Häyhä remained unconscious. Evacuated to field hospital the following day. Surgical intervention. Reconstructive procedures. Multiple operations. He remained comatose. Prognosis. Death or permanent severe disability. Medical staff documented injuries. Prepared death notification. Häyhä regained consciousness March 13, 1940. 7 days after injury, Finland and the Soviet Union signed armistice March 13th. The Winter War ended. Duration: 105 days. Soviet casualties: 126,000 dead, 264,000 wounded. Finnish casualties: 26,000 dead, 43,000 wounded. The Soviet Union gained territorial concessions. Finland retained independence. Strategic Soviet objectives failed. The Red Army's performance was catastrophic. Stalin purged military leadership. Global perception of Soviet military capability collapsed. Adolf Hitler observed closely. The Red Army appeared vulnerable. German invasion plans gained momentum. Häyhä survived. Discharged from hospital April 1940. Extensive facial scarring. Permanent disfigurement. Speech impaired. Promoted to second lieutenant by Field Marshal Carl Gustav Emil Mannerheim. Official credited kill count: 505 Soviet soldiers. Highest number of sniper kills in any major war by single sniper. The figure remains unmatched. Finnish military also credited Häyhä with approximately 200 kills using Suomi KP-31 submachine gun during close quarters engagements. Combined total: over 700 kills. Duration of combat service: 98 days. Average: 7 kills per day. The mathematics were verified through Soviet casualty records captured post-war and Finnish after-action reports. Häyhä returned to farming. Rajärvi region. Resumed civilian life. Never sought publicity. Rarely discussed the war. When asked about killing, his response was consistent. "I did what I was told to do, as well as I could." No elaboration. No justification. He hunted elk and moose. Competed in shooting sports. Bred dogs. Lived quietly. Finnish government awarded him property and land in recognition of service. He accepted without comment. Journalists requested interviews. He declined most. The few interviews he granted were brief. No tactical details. No war stories. His standard answer to questions about his effectiveness: practice. Do me a quick favor. Tap the like button. Every like tells YouTube this story deserves to be seen by more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We're bringing overlooked wartime stories back into the light every day. Stories of crews, soldiers, and ordinary people driven by resolve and duty. Real lives, real bravery. Leave a comment right now and tell us where you're watching from. Are you in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, or somewhere else? This audience reaches across the entire world. You're not just watching, you're helping preserve history. Let us know if someone in your family served, or simply let us know you're here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for making sure these stories are not forgotten. They deserve to be remembered, and your support makes that possible. Simo Häyhä died April 1st, 2002, age 96. Natural causes. 62 years after the bullet shattered his face. He outlived the Soviet Union by 11 years. Military funeral. Honor guard. Veterans attended from across Finland. His Mosin Nagin M/28-30 rifle is preserved in the Finnish Military Museum, Helsinki. The iron sights remain attached. No scope was ever mounted. 505 confirmed kills. 98 days. Temperatures reaching -43 Fahrenheit. A farmer who understood snow, silence, and the mathematics of bullet trajectories. The Soviets called him the White Death. He called it duty.